The brand new Battle Machine ruler is finally here, so let me show you exactly how to use him. But first, let's buy the new skin. Well, there goes $20. How the Battle Machine's ability works is you get a free building on rounds 1, 3, 5, and 8. So what you want to try to do is try to stall out until you get to those rounds so that you can get your free buildings. And as you just saw there with the Inferno Tower, after you place your Inferno Tower once, you actually cannot move the building after you do that. So make sure you place your buildings very carefully when you first get them. I'm placing my Inferno Tower at the very far back because the Inferno Tower is very valuable. He's a very good backline character, so you want to try to protect him as much as possible by playing him in the backline as you would with any other backline unit. You want to place pretty much all of your towers in the backline except for, in my opinion, the Tesla, because, well, the Tesla only has a 1 range, so his range is very small. So you want to place him in the front line as much as you can because that's the only way he gets value. If you place him in the far back, he's not going to activate at all. When buying your troops, you simply just want to buy the troops that have good synergies because, again, your whole goal here is just to survive as much as possible. Like, we're going to buy the Queen there because her traits is very good. The clan complements the wizard. You don't want to be sacking unnecessary rounds just to buy goblins, like as you would with the other heroes. Let's say with the Empress, you don't want to just buy goblins, maybe sack a round just for the sake of your economy. You don't want to do that because your economy actually comes from your buildings here, the major points of it. So you just want to try to survive as much as possible until you can get those buildings. Let's upgrade this princess here. And they actually did change the UI of the merges, which is very good. Now you can see them in a bright white highlight, whereas before it was a little bit subtle. You might skip over it, but now it's very hard to skip over. And you should be going for more frontline heavy focused comps because you already have a very solid backline, pretty much guaranteed from the buildings you get. As you can see, the Inferno Tower is just melting that many P.E.K.K.A. Even as a 1-star, the Inferno Tower is doing a lot of damage. The only problem is that it just got one-shotted by the P.E.K.K.A, so it is a bit fragile, but that Expo, it takes a while to load up. That's the only flaw, but after it loads up, it's going to go completely crazy. All right, so let's get that free 3-star elixir pump. Let's get the Mega Knight here, and then I'll probably leave the pump there, but we're actually going to sell that princess, and I would say let's get the Valk. Let's probably get the Valkyrie just so we can try to maximize our front line here. So we're going to buy the Valkyrie there. And our elixir pump, I don't know. I honestly would have preferred a different 3-star building this late into the game because elixir is not as important late game in my opinion. But we are in round 5 and we still have 8 HP. So it's not bad for us. But I feel like in the majority of games, you're not going to be at this much HP. So it's going to be a lot more valuable to get, you know, a 3-star Inferno Tower, for example, or maybe even a Tesla. So I feel like that's going to be a bit of an RNG aspect of it because let's say some people just get like better buildings than you, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. But we are in a very good spot here. And as you can see, I'm literally just placing all my buildings in the back. The one thing I think that you could do with the elixir pump is I think you could actually place the elixir pump maybe 1 tile above the other buildings. So worst case scenario, your pump is actually tanking for the other buildings, though that won't be occurring too often because in the late game when all of your troops die, if only your buildings are alive, then they actually don't count. So if you're in a situation where your buildings only are alive, then it doesn't matter, but still a bit of extra protection because it doesn't matter if your elixir pump is alive, but the rest of your troops are dead. You know what I mean? So even using it as well as like half protection is a pretty good idea in my opinion. So we're going to farm that elixir. It's actually generating extremely fast. I think the higher star elixir pumps are actually really good. So we do have the 4 clan here. Like a very strong frontline comp. That's what you really want to try to go for here. You don't want to be going 4 Rangers, 4 Blasters, as you would in the last season, as was very meta with the Elixir Loon. With the Battle Machine, you want to go for more frontline heavy. So 4 Clan is pretty good. You could go like Brutalist. You could go Superstar. Those are pretty good. Even like balanced frontline, backline comps, those are very good. But this is the biggest counter to the Battle Machine, in my opinion, Assassins, because this is sort of a Master Arena concept, but if you're facing Assassins and you have buildings down, you actually can't move the buildings, as I explained earlier, after you initially place them, so the buildings are just getting destroyed right now. I can't really do much about that, to be fair, except for maybe placing some frontline units on the buildings right in front, but still, we're still going to take the very first game pretty decisively. Moving on to the second match here, let's see what we get. We get a Royal Giant, so let's get the Dart Goblin here, just to get that Rangers buff, and we just got a Tesla. So again, you want to place a Tesla in the very front, in my opinion, because it only has a 1 range, as you can see right there. The arrow next to that little bow icon, it only has a number 1, meaning that its range is very low. It only has a 1 range. So even right now, it's not guaranteed to activate. So the Tesla, I feel like, is going to be... It's not going to be guaranteed in a lot of games. It's going to have a lot of variability when it activates. So you want to try to make the most value possible. So to do that, you want to place it in the front row, in my opinion, and just place all of the rest of your troops in the back. So let's actually go for this witch here. And unfortunately, he does have the assassins. So I think assassins are actually going to be really good against the battle machine here. So that's a bit unfortunate. I think the Royal Giant's actually getting quite a lot of damage here. Yeah, the Royal Giant's actually getting quite a lot of value. The Tesla's getting a lot of value too. The Tesla's going to be really good against those melee troop units. But if you're up against a very ranged heavy comp, then it's not going to be a good time for your Tesla. All right, so let's claim our second building. We get the Inferno Tower. Let's get the Witch, of course. And I think I probably will just wait here and maybe claim that E-Giant as the second superstar. I feel like that's going to be really good. But of course, we're going to place our Inferno Tower in the very sort of last lane, I feel like, just to protect it as much as possible here with our backline. And boom, it's going to start melting that Prince. And our Tesla's dead. Our backline's breached, so it's going to start melting the mini P.E.K.K.A. Going to go for that skeleton as well. And what you could actually do with the Inferno Tower is, if you're up against a normal comp, so not, a very backline heavy comp where your front line is going to be breached, you actually want to try to place it in the second to last, so the second to last lane, because as you saw there, its range doesn't actually fully extend. So if you place it in the second to last lane, it can start shooting immediately. So unfortunately, though, I kind of forgot that the building, can be moved there. So you generally want to place it in the second to last range, or the second to last lane, just to maximize its range. Unfortunately, we're up against assassins again, so it's not going to be a good time for our Inferno Tower and our backline comp. I do want to try to shift over to a more frontline heavy comp here in this next round if we can do that. But nevertheless, our Inferno Tower is getting crazy value here. I feel like the Inferno Tower is probably one of the most valuable buildings. I think the Tesla is very, hit or miss. The pump is... I don't think the pump is actually that strong because... a 1-star pump is not going to get you value in the early games. I feel like it's pretty useless. The 3-star pump is good, but it's, late game menace, right? It's not going to get, that much value in the late game when you get it, either way, because you're already going to have a pretty decent comp. Let's claim this little orb here, though. We get the 3-star Expo, so that's going to be pretty good. And I don't want to get that... I don't want to sell and get that Dark Goblin because it's not very useful to our team, I feel like. But we are going to have that 3-star Expo, which is going to be super good. The only problem is it's going to take freaking forever to load up. That's why you need a very frontline heavy comp. So I should probably be going for a better frontline comp. But I don't think this is bad either way. Just the Rangers are kind of the issue. Our Witch is pretty good, though, because it does give us that superstar ability. And the E-Giant, if you have not seen the gameplay... the superstar with the E-Giant is going to be insane. Honestly, it might be one of the best troops in the game. I'm calling it right now, but let's upgrade that dart. Let's get that goblin and the barb there, and I think that's all we could do. We could actually sell that and go for the musketeer here just for that 3rd superstar, and we need the monk for our 4th superstar. We are up against D-Warrior, the final person, so it's going to be a 1v1. We have 10 HP still. Very powerful comp. Now, the problem with the Expo, in my opinion, is I feel like you're not going to be able to get... very powerful comps with the battle machine that will survive long enough for the Expo to get a lot of value here. Yeah, as you can see, the Expo is just already dead. I feel like with the battle machine, the strength lies in the building. So it's going to be a very sort of more balanced team. You're not going to have a lot of 3 stars, but they're going to be kind of dispersed. So the Expo might not get too much value in the late game. All right, we get the Elixir Pump and the Bar Merge for our first round. Let's get the P.E.K.K.A. here just to complement the Brawler, I would say. And this is what I mean. I feel like the Elixir Pump at 1 star is just not going to get value. We're already going to close out the game before it can even generate an Elixir. Let's get that Valk here. Of course, we're just going to buy the cards with good traits. You just want to try to survive. This is a game about survival. You're not sacking HP for your eco. No, you're not doing that. You're trying to survive, get good cards with good synergies, bulky cards to try to protect those buildings so that they can get their maximized value. So of course, we have a very good comp right now. Valk, 2-star Barb, P.E.K.K.A., pretty good comp. But unfortunately, we're going to see the Archer Queen, and the Archer Queen just became a Ranger here. So let's see how strong it is. We are up against a Dart as well. Dude, the Archer Queen's shooting really quickly. I don't like that, man. It's a 1 star, and it's already doing that much. I don't know how I feel about that. But either way here, guys, we're going to upgrade our P.E.K.K.A. here. We're going to get our second building here. Let's see what we get. We get a Tesla. Okay. So with the Tesla, of course, as I mentioned, you want to place it in the very first lane, in my opinion, again, because you want to ensure that it activates, because it's not always going to activate, right? So we want to try to place our cards as far back as possible, in my opinion, just so that the other cards have to try to walk up and get into the range of our Tesla. That's going to be the hardest part, man. This Tesla has a very small range. So against the Barb is good, but man, against the other range units, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. We're going to try to put him the... I would say let's put our troops in the very back lane, just to ensure that it gets value. Even if the Tesla dies, we just wanted to get as much value as I can. So we're going to take out this guy pretty easily, though. And let's get these skeleton dragons here. The Barb, again, that extra white highlight is extremely helpful here, guys. But I feel like that extra building does come a long way. Like, it does help you survive a lot. The buildings are actually pretty good. So I think, of course, guaranteed you'll probably survive at least rounds 1 and 3. So you'll probably get at least 2 buildings, which is... It's honestly pretty helpful in combating RNG. Like, let's say you just get terrible troops, you don't get a merge. Well, at least you're guaranteed a 2-star with the battle machine. I feel like that's pretty decent. As you can see, our Brutalist marks are kind of going crazy. I think the Brutalists are going to be so good because the Valkyrie splash damage, it's going to mark multiple units at once if you do have good placement with that Valkyrie. So I feel like the battle machine is pretty decent. Like, you'll get pretty consistent results. Like, you'll get a guaranteed 2-star building, and just like that, we get a 3-star freaking Inferno Tower. You get a guaranteed 3-star building in round 5, which, I mean, with a lot of heroes, you don't even get a 3-star troop in round 5. So I feel like the battle machine's pretty good for that, but we're going to place our troops in the very last lane, of course, because I want to get as much value with the hidden Tesla as much as possible. But yeah, unfortunately, our Inferno Tower is not getting much value again. I kind of forgot about the building issue, but you should be placing the Inferno Tower in the second to last lane. Do not do what I'm doing right now. Place it in the second to last lane so that it actually gets range. But I mean, either way, like it's not going to be very good against like the very backline heavy comps, because as you can see here, like, I mean, the battle is happening on their side of the map. So in battles like that, it's not going to be too significant. But let's go for that Musketeer here. Let's upgrade, I would say, the Prince, okay? Let's get the Mini P.E.K.K.A here, the Skeleton Dragons, and we get to 3-star Barb. Let's go. And just like that, we're going to end the cycle there. I would say the most important thing to consider with the machine is the battle machine, excuse me, not the goblin machine. I got to specify now, but you want to have very good troop placement. So you want to know which lanes to place your buildings, of course. In my opinion, the Tesla in the front. The rest of the troops in the back lane, somewhat, you want to place the Inferno Tower, in my opinion, in the second to last lane. And you just want to try to stay alive as much as possible. But just like that, we are going to take the win, and that is the brand new Battle Machine Ruler for you.